What are you seeing, or what have you seen over the years when it comes to the entry of new artists? What do they expect versus the reality of being in the business of making music?
Everyone is sold on what they see on television, like I say. I mean, I think my kids, I don't care what you want to do, what you want to do. It can be from you want to climb mountains or you want to work whichever industry, but you have to know business. You have to know the basics, because whoever is paying you according to their knowledge of the business. They're paying you according to the budget they have. You need to know what it is you're dealing with and how you make, and deals are between yourself and the other person. So it's like, do you know what this thing is? And you'll think, Matthew uyanganya yazi no one is like no dude Matthew akakunganyo.
Yeah.
Matthew is very clear. Matthew is very clear when he gets up in the morning because he's going to make money. And you need to know what your value is. I don't bother. Guys leave school to go and sing. There isn't even a promise an opportunity came up. No, they leave school because they think they can make no, if you can listen to me, but listening to you, and probably you can really sing nicely, but you don't know there's many other nice singers. Look, there's scores of female artists. So whenever a new female artist comes out, like, it's like, but you know what you're up against. And it depends on which field. I'm talking about just performances. Forget tracks, like the recorded music itself, because there's so much other choice. That being just something that you buy, and now you're up against cell phones, you're up against all sorts of stuff. It's not even just about music. Back then, you knew, okay, Christmas time, you're up against Whitney Houston,
right.
Wada. But now you're up against all this other stuff. Music stores have closed up and started putting in like video games and all that stuff. That's what you're up against. So what is it that you're going to sell? And how do you think that you're going to be better than the others? Because the influence on now, all those other artists now, but they're influenced by the same thing. What's different about you?
When it comes to work ethic, is there work ethic? When you were growing up, your parents were like, no, you want to be a musician, like be a doctor, be a lawyer, be a this, be a that. There's this perception that it's nice. It's just nice times.
Yes, but hence it's called Yodlala. Like when people say, but you're a celebrity. I'm like, no, I'm a musician. And I'm passionate about knowing as much as I can about music. Like now, I may say, but the music these days has gone. But like, even cell phones make music these days. And guys make that music on their cell phone. Oh, that sounds nice. I don't want to go into the professional world. If you want to be if you can draw really nicely, I think I can draw nice. Can you go and be an architect like right now? No, you have to go and study. Yes, I must acknowledge that there are many kids who pick up instruments these days and, they really get into it. And church is very good for, for developing talent. But the others, they just call themselves musicians, but they are not musicians, And I know I've done a bit of acting here and there, but I got to a point where it's like, I'm uncomfortable because I'm not really
an actor,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I respect the craft. Like I know there are guys who are actors. I can, jive anything, I can jive it. But I don't feel comfortable because I don't know the craft itself, and I'd like to actually go to school a little bit, and learn a bit about the craft. So you need to know what it is that you belong to. Some people are just for the fame and for the money, and they're very clear about what it is that they're doing, which is as long as they are clear about what they're doing. It's like, hey, Marlon, what do you think about this ban? Always everywhere, and manching at 2 years, it's like, dude, as long as they have a plan. Why not do you know? It's like, why are you talking about other people?
Yeah.
There's something that's not happening for you.
Yeah. Do you find maybe that is part of the problem, is that we're constantly looking outside and what everybody else is doing, but Zwai Bala, Dudu Bala, instead of focusing on self?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in my own experience, I found that when I was starting off and I was, you won't believe, like I used to think like, imagine one day like producer Sharon D, no Bob Mapena.
Yeah.
But then you work and just you sharpen your skills, you just work, and then years down the line, like, because I wasn't looking at other people, I was just getting better at what I do. I never knew that I'd be scoring for films one day. you know, and because I had an interest in, you know, how things are done, how things are put together, you know, what the business of this thing is, and just working on myself. Otherwise, you'll be fooled by what you perceive. Because when you look at other people, it's only what you think it is. It may not necessarily be that. Like when you look at, so-and-so killed themselves because they were depressed, they didn't have anything, but you saw them as big stars. You didn't know the problems that they have.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. But when you look back on your journey, who was Zwai and who is Zwai now?
I must say that it has really worked to my advantage to be curious, just as a person. And because I started this thing, the age of 11, there's a lot that I've learned over the years. And I'm curious. Me, I'm not the person who conforms easily to societal norms. You know, it's like, why? Why? And especially when this thing doesn't work. But does democracy work at the end of the day? Okay, fine. You know, if Cape Town is going to say, yeah, according to whatever, we are the best run city. It's like, but really?
Why?
You know, according to who?
Yeah.
And how does that fit us? You know what I'm saying? So I know what you are capable of as an individual and how you can craft your thing into making sense to you. Because what I believe can work for me, it's not like someone else has to believe. When you talk about fusing kwaito and classical, it probably would make sense until someone does it. And it doesn't mean that now that's a template that everyone else can take. You know, it's also about the different experiences that people have. And I think for us to be able to put value to what we have and what we do, you know, my own experience does not equal to something. You know what I'm saying? So now that's not maybe the difference of Zwai when I was younger, but it's the development. And I've got to a point where I've come to realize just the amount of wealth Africans have. Why do they keep stealing from us? What is it that they're stealing? You know, and so which means till now we don't see anything of value. You know, so
I want to talk about the continent and your love for the continent. What influenced that? I asked because the first time I fell in love with the rest of the continent was when I started traveling the continent. And when you get to see that, you know, in as much as we think we're so different, we are the same.
And it's where Teen, I guess we are the same people. We were divided by the borders that were brought by our colonizers. And then we use those borders to differentiate ourselves. You know, and whereas like Zambians and so on, we are the very same people. You know, it's until one with Mara, you know, and that's a sad reality. So I guess for me, it's really the traveling and the thinking and the curiosity. You know, I like making this analogy. When there's a new car at home or someone has bought a certain car which you didn't know before, you start noticing it now.
Everywhere
you never used to notice it. Now you start seeing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was for me until I clicked onto Africanism and what. Then I started seeing it. I started coming across a lot more literature. I started coming across a lot more people that have this vibe. You know what I mean? Because I was switched on. But so what was happening before? We kept being directed into one direction. You know, and I think clearly and loudly, religion has done a lot of not so nice things to our people, and it's unfortunately taught them not to think. I will say that because it is a very serious thing. There's nothing wrong with at least whatever other information that's outside of this, at least to listen to it, you know, and think for yourself. But it's like, no, there's this one piece of literature that will keep, which you haven't even read all of before. For the mere fact that you keep having to try to understand this thing, can you try and understand something else? Do you know that Africans have their own proverbs? You know? And this Egypt that they talk about is African, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot that I think once we stop thinking that something has to come from outside for us to believe. Because when Mabati, there's a pastor from Nigeria or some famous pastor from the States, then it's like, you're going to go and listen. But if your brother here says the same thing, you won't listen to them. can we start looking around us, because the wealth and everything that we need is around us. I mean, the fashion, the creative, all creative forms. It's amongst that. Even what we shoot, even what we record, what we write is stuff that is from here. You know, we have the wealth. Until we start recognizing it and opening our eyes, we'll find a lot.
All the manna is right here.
Everybody.
Yeah. In closing up the conversation, what are you most grateful for? 2018 has been quite the year.
I'm grateful I'm still around, and that there's a lot that I can still contribute to my people. I'm grateful to have had people that have had such a great impact to my life. Brayu was one such person. I grieved a lot on his going, but it wasn't really a lot of grief because I've lost something, but because I've had something that really has built me into a great person, has made me a better person rather. And yeah, I went through a divorce recently, and at least I still have kids that love me and I love, and you know, it didn't do that much damage. Sometimes people get taken away, you know what I'm saying? And at least my experiences can be lessons for others. You know, I'm passionate about Africa, and I see Africa in what it can be, and I hope I'm still around to see it become.